Let's review Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story. I know I said Kate and Anthony season was my favorite, but this is not a part of the Bridgerton series, so hey, I love this. I love this. This is like my number one out of like everything, all the Bridgerton. This is above the whole series. This is my fave. Like the chemistry was everything. First off, like even the interviews after the show had went out, I was like, like chemistry was everything. Even the casting was above and beyond. Like, hello, duplicates. But anyways, let's review. If you haven't watched it, spoilers are ahead. This is what really hooked me when they first came out with like the first Instagram of it, and this is the first thing that was on there. Her trying to climb up that wall, and he was gonna be like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, that's what hooked me. And then when I seen it inside the show, I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna love this." But I mean, I already know I was gonna love it because I already loved the other pictures. But she, man, she is so outspoken. Like, she's like not like any other girl in the Bridgerton universe because I feel like she was way more outspoken. You know, she was going into this world that she know nothing about, and now she's gonna be queen. But I mean, even the older version of her, Golda, she really was outspoken too. I feel like she definitely changed throughout the years, but I feel like it's because of what she's been through, and she was used to ruling the country by herself since her husband was insane. I loved his casting too. At first, I did not like him. I'm not even gonna lie. I had to see his perspectives before I started liking him. But then when I realized what was going on, I was like, no, not George. I love him. But, you know, and let's talk about when he came back during that episode. When he came back to see her, he was just, he literally tried to make it seem like nothing is going on. Like he hasn't been avoiding her. He just came to breakfast and she was like, yeah, no. And then she had to get up out of there. I was like, yeah, stand your ground, girl, because what's going on? You don't even know what's going on. Now we see what's going on, but he still ain't let you in. He's still lying. Like this thing is really what done it for me. When I feel like you can definitely see the energy shift after that, because she was so happy. But then each time he said, your home, you have to play close with it. He say our home. And then when he said, I am your king, and she said, my mistake, I thought you were just George, you could definitely see how his face fell too. And I mean, what you expect from her? You talk about, I'm just George, but then you're talking about, I'm your king. But you can tell after this, she didn't. After just being in that house by herself, realizing the role and power that she had, she's a I am your queen. And I'm like, yes, queen. Let's talk about ride or die because as she found out, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I could see that she was kind of upset about it. She wants to go home. She's pregnant. It was like too much. She wasn't trying to offend him, but when she was speaking to his mother about him being ill, I feel like, why would she go to you? You ain't been telling her the truth. She's finna go ahead to the person that's been keeping all of his secrets, and it's your mother. Her right here. I felt like she was like, at first I was like, ooh, you're a villain. But then I seen how she told Lady Danbury to pick herself up and like, you can't be acting like this, especially not in a room full of men. You got to be powerful. I was like, yes, I kind of like you a little bit. But you can also tell, like, yeah, we're not friends. But at the same time, you're very powerful. And love how you hold yourself. And I love that. Speaking of Lady Danbury, do you see her? Like, do you see the skin? Hello, glowing. I really loved her, truthfully. And I wouldn't say she was being selfish. I did not know she was older than Queen Charlotte. That was a twist, to be honest. But I like how they did things. And then for us to believe she got 4 kids, it's crazy. No. They really set her up with this man right here. He looks nothing like that in real life, by the way. It was the makeup. He don't look like that in real life. But her and him, you could see that she was just there just for the longingness till he got gone. Cause I mean, hey, what else you gonna do? You could definitely see that she got sold off or something. She didn't want to marry him. She didn't want to be with him. And you can see that when she was talking to her maid in her bathtub. And I loved her maid's friendship. I'm really hoping that she's still around. But you know, we don't really see her in the main series, so I guess she ain't. But still a baddie at heart. But I love this scene though. What? With her and her son, because you could see that she didn't know what to do. She thought her title was going to get taken. They wasn't going to have anything. And then she had to look at her son and tell him, like, you have the title now. You have to be strong. You have to take this. You can obviously see she wasn't, the best mother ever. But when time came and she needed He needs a good talking to, and she needs to show empathy. You can really see their bond right there and there. You are my son. Okay. And then when she was talking about his title and where they came from, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this series. I need a series just based off her family. Well, not this. Maybe like somebody similar to her and stuff. Feel like we ought to see her though. But the whole speech she gave her son, I was like, man, I love that. Speaking of kids, the way he stood by her side the whole time, even when they told him it wasn't man like to go up in there with her and he couldn't, he was like, well, I'm head of this country. You ain't finna tell me I can't go up in there with my wife. I said, okay. He was really in love with that girl. He really was. And when I tell you, when I seen the scene, okay, they really had me. I have to take a step back. I was like, ah. But I also love this friendship. I love their friendship. You ain't really see it as often as you would like, but I love their friendship. He literally put his hand on his shoulder, even though it wasn't like what he was supposed to do. Like he shouldn't have done it, but he did it because he knew the king needed him right then and there. Just like these two, he always wanted to grab a hold of her and give her a hug sometimes, but he know he couldn't, and so he didn't. Right, like right when he was reaching his hand out, that one episode when she was breaking down, I was like, oh, girl, get up. You know, you can't be doing this. You queen. You head of this country. You can't be breaking down in front of people. And I'm glad he didn't step in, but at the same time, I know he would have. But I'm glad because I feel like that made her stronger. And he knew it would have too, deep down. And since we're on the subject, I was so devastated at their ending. I heard it was like a cuss scene of Reynolds. You know, he was still with the king after everything. And I'm glad he was, but they can't be together just because of society, you know? Because they could be, you know, killed just for being gay, which is crazy. But you can tell they loved each other, but they was still fulfilling their roles and their duties. But I love their little scenes together, even when it was just talking about the king and queen. I love their little dialogue. Like he was talking about, will your gift have little legs? I was like, oh, I love them. And the chemistry was top tier. Like, hello. Also, a nice duo right here. I'm sorry, but you can't tell me something. Like, you can't. I know, but you can't tell me. Like, the casting was too good. Look at the smiles. Like, nobody that identical. Especially the queens, they too identical for me. Like, he was really in love with her. She was in love with him. That was really the only person that could keep them calm. Like, they were really there for each other. They really held it down. And they was still in love throughout the years, especially that last scene that really broke me. Let's take a moment and just look at this dress, and her hairstyle was on point. Her hair, I loved it the whole season, especially during the wedding. Like, look at this. But nobody could play Queen Charlotte like Andia did. Like young Queen Charlotte. Nobody. The perfect casting, the perfect emotion. Her face has all the emotions. I love her. She is so pretty. And I also like her tour hairstyles too, because you know, I love how she still served. My favorite scene of all time of the Bridgerton cinematic universe. Love them. I really do. But can we just talk about, I feel like I need a whole different video for this, but her children are just like her in many different ways, but she reminds me so much of Eloise and, you know, Hyacinth too. And just like all the girls. She reminds me of all the girls put in one. But you gotta she was the only child too. When you broke down, I kind of broke down too because this is so sad. This trio though. I did not know she was that much younger than him. Their friendship was top tier. Did she use her? A little bit, yeah. But at the same time, I feel like that's what she needed when she first became queen. She needed somebody to tell her about herself. She needed somebody to like really give her. And you know, obviously, she wasn't going to get that from anybody else besides her. She needed a friend during that time. They both did. But this series really made me love Lady Denver more. It really showed her. And I really love Queen Charlotte too more because I can see where she came from. Was she a good mom? Not at all. Sorrows, prayers. Like, why would you tell your grieving son though? But at the end of the day, you knew what was best for them in that country. So you made them get married and you finally made them have a kid, which is so surprising that none of them really had kids, like legitimate kids, until forced them to get married, which is crazy because their parent was so in love and they kept on constantly having kids. 12 kids is insane. I'm not even gonna get into them. They were cute. Was the cheating like okay? No, but at the same time, I mean, he obviously didn't love his wife anymore, and she obviously needed somebody right then and there. And when Violet found out, I feel like she just dealt with it. She just knew that it just needed to happen. At least her dad was a little bit happy when he was alive. But a true love, and so was Lady Danbury. But if you haven't watched Queen Charlotte, Bridgerton tour, it's better than the series, so you should. I love it.